let's talk about object show dialogue. By the nature of the object show medium, dialogue is pretty damn important. I've yet to voyage into the depths of Wattpad to read object shows written as if they were books, so the only object shows I'm aware of are the ones that are animated or comics. With those mediums, you don't get the privilege of the nuance of written narrative and the stuff that happens in between dialogue. You have to infer more from the drawing or animation. What you see, rather what you hear, is what you get. Writing dialogue is like more than half of writing an object show. You can have interesting, compelling characters with cool dynamics and a riveting competition and a unique story element. But if your dialogue is bad, the episode will be bad. Here's what makes dialogue good dialogue. I'll be breaking it into 3 strong points. Number 1, it's to the point and natural. Dialogue in object shows and shows in general is obviously based off people talking from real life. So dialogue should sound like something someone would say in real life. And in real life, in my experience, people tend to speak to the point. They rarely speak in long-winded monologues, like I'm doing right now, and fully realize self-aware quips and truisms. Natural dialogue is usually choppy, incomplete, and awkward. This also falls into the category of removing all extraneous moments from dialogue. Start early or in the middle of a scene when it comes to scene writing. Enter late, leave early is a common phrase used in screenwriting's context. Let's look at a couple examples of what does this right and what does this wrong, from object shows of my choice. Starting with what goes wrong, Inanimate Insanity 2 takes the cake, and then all other cakes at the cakewalk contest. The most recent episode is possibly one of the worst offenders of this ever. One long monologue at the climax of the episode I can excuse, but one every 5 minutes? Yeah, I'm good actually. Let's look at one of these very unnatural dialogue moments in particular. It was really hard choosing which dog shit monologue from this boring episode I should use, but I think this one encapsulates the rest pretty well.
Hey. You know, I always called you him. Guess not all my theories are right, huh? I'm sorry that I wanted you to be safe so bad that I almost never got to meet you. I'm always trying to make sense of this crazy world, but really, I'm just guessing. The only thing I know for sure is even without that shell holding you together, you'll still watch out for each other.
We're glad you seem to have learned an important lesson about embracing what you don't understand. We would have preferred if you hadn't abducted our children to do it, but can't win them all, we suppose.
Here, Fan is completely emotionally aware and speaking so composedly that it's like he was giving a prepared speech, where just a moment ago he was stuttering and unaware and confused. He just tells exactly how he feels, with no subtlety, and with cool phrases that he probably would never say otherwise. I get wanting to include a nice line you thought of, but if it doesn't sound like something they'd say, it shouldn't be said. It pulls the viewer out from the story and destroys the immersion. They immediately remember, oh yeah, I'm watching a show written by people, and not watching a cool story unfold organically. BFB 1, on the other hand, is a masterpiece! Here comes the money. For real though, BFB 1 is full of awesome character interactions that feel real and natural, like kids on a playground. There are probably better examples in this episode, but I have a low attention span, and this lovely interaction was just 2 minutes in.
Yeah, exactly. See, Bottle, you understand. Yellowface, what is this?
They're forks.
Yeah, but why?
That's a very large stack of forks, Gelatin!
Yeah!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You have entering late and leaving early with Donut talking to Bottle and Bell and Gelatin's shenanigans, leaving the viewer try to put together what takes place before and after. You have Yellowface and Donut talking over each other, and just overall goofiness all around that makes it really seem like a couple of friends chillin'. You can probably watch the rest of the episode to see what I'm trying to say here, but I can't include the whole episode here, unfortunately. Number 2. Good dialogue also doesn't restate what the viewer already knows or points out the obvious. Believe it or not, your viewers are competent people. They can comprehend things, like emotional dialogue and story beats. You don't need to hold their hand to illustrate exactly how the character is thinking or feeling at any moment, or have them point out why a certain event was meaningful, significant, or funny. The classic, often overused, writing advice, show don't tell, applies to dialogue as well. even if dialogue is literally people telling people things. Silence is extremely effective. What a character doesn't say can be a lot more powerful than what they do, and it doesn't make the viewer feel belittled for not having every single thing explained to them straight up. You got a little preview of this concept in that fan clip I showed earlier where the egg word for word explained what fan learned and the importance of it. But here's some other examples. I do actually enjoy Sam's writing in II BFB a lot, but it's not perfect. Here's a single line that pulled me out from the show and made me be like, well, okay.
From the beginning, Woody. It was earlier today, and I was on my way to jet flying class.
Yep, good one.
No way! The first time we can understand what you're saying and you pranked them? Nice going, Woody.
That is straight up just explaining the joke. Like, we know that. We know that Woody isn't understandable, and we know that he's making a joke that's normally contradictory towards his character. We know! We don't need Blocky to explain that joke to us verbatim. I think the scene would be better if Blocky just mimicked Lollipop's line by saying, yeah, good one, enthusiastically get contrast and maybe going in for a high five. The joke would have hit better, and it would have added a nice character interaction and contrasting characterization between Lollipop and Blocky. Also, it would be so cute. For the good part, I'll just use the lack of dialogue from this newest Inanimate Insanity episode. And before your jaw drops to the floor because I'm vaguely complimenting II2, give me a singular break. It's not all that bad, surprisingly enough, and though it pains me to say that. Anyway, here it is. This is good because it parallels the past episode's bright lights, sequential eliminations, and dwindling numbers, and it doesn't bring up the fact that it does. When you realize it, you feel rewarded for being an attentive viewer. I was honestly expecting Lightbulb to make some quit about, and then there was one or something similar given its track record. Okay, this example is cancelled actually because I was fucking rewatching the episode while fucking editing this video together after I'd written the script and recorded the audio, and me phone literally does say and then there was 4. So can you just pretend that this example is good and works and that Inanimate Insanity has some semblance of subtlety amongst its shit dialogue? Thanks! But no, it's just a quiet, powerful, emotional moment given the weight of this elimination on Lightbulb with her team and friends gone and her being totally alone. Number 3. Finally, the absolute best dialogue has multiple uses. It's extremely hard to do this right, especially in screenwriting. In novel writing, I've learned that dialogue has to move the story forward, reveal relevant information about the character, and help the reader understand the dynamic and relationship between the characters speaking. If they don't accomplish all 3, then it's wasteful dialogue. This is a lot easier in novel writing than in script writing because episodes are easier to digest and take less time to consume than novels. However, the point still remains. Your dialogue should serve purpose, and usually more than one purpose. Plot, character, and character dynamics are just a few things dialogue can do. You can also reveal theming of the piece, entertain the audience, create conflict or tension, etc. But the key to creating absolutely phenomenal dialogue is having one line say like 30 different things at once. That's the magic of dialogue writing. It's extremely hard to identify dialogue that does this right, but after some consideration, I've found this one.
We battled for 2 years to win Dream Island, and you just took it away from me. You didn't let me in. So what, Leafy? You couldn't have just waited to have a talk about it? You went straight to the announcer instead? And then we competed again, and I didn't get a prize, and now we're competing for what? Some weird BFB thing that I might not even win based on the votes? Woody and Blocky got more than me. Blocky did. I have no chance. I'm never gonna win anything because of you. So I took this. So what? I deserve to have something. Everyone was saying they wanted this diary. I wanted it. I deserve to have something everyone wants. It's only fair.
I thought you didn't care.
What? I realized they were just chasing you. If I just walked off, it'd be easier to just not do anything and pretend I didn't care about you anymore. And over time, it was easier to just forget and try to move on than try to talk again. No one liked you, and I've just been upset. You stole everything from me and never apologized.
But please, Fiery, take it from someone who knows. Don't steal something for petty reasons. Don't make the same mistake I did. Just give this diary back.
But now they're all gonna know I did this. You're gonna have to hand me in to win the challenge, and I'm gonna be voted out now. Everyone's gonna be mad at me.
I'm used to it. Fiery, if you go and return the diary, I'll just say I took it. This whole mess is my fault. It's the least I can do.
You'd really do that for me?
Of course, Fiery. Getting eliminated is no big fuss, but losing a friendship is. And I'm really sorry about how everything went down between us.
Well, hopefully we can have a bright future. Hug?
Sure.
When I think back on this moment, I'll forget that last part.
But wait, Multi, you may be saying. You just dogged on II for telling the audience straight up what the character felt. But you must understand, all writing has exceptions. Monologues and moments like this in moderation can be powerful and effective, like it's done here. Especially since this fiery Leafy subplot has been neglected for ages. This conversation between the two does a wonderful amount of things. It moves the plot forward of the episode and challenges solving the mystery. It contrasts Leafy and Fiery's attitude towards the show. One's a lot more comfortable with being eliminated if it means they keep friends, while the other isn't. And it shows us some well-needed and well-deserved Fiery characterization that we've been deprived of for a while. We see he really values prizes and appreciation and all that, which explains some of his past behavior. It's a good ending to this long-winded subplot. Sam did a wonderful job giving it justice. Now, for the bad one. Unfortunately, I can't or don't want to show the entirety of BFB 21, because that's the definition of nothing dialogue. Let's look at some clips.
It's time for King Cat. Only if you stop dancing like that.
Don't worry, Four. Fiery only meant it sarcastically. Right, Fiery? Right, Fiery?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Awesome!
Dear Joy, I know you literally assassinated me a few minutes ago, but do you want to be shipers together? Yoy, okay! Bonding time with another water-based specimen!
Yeesh, now that's a weird way to say it.
We need one more shiper, though!
Whoa! There's so many products in here! Four wasn't lying when he said millions.
Whoa, so this is where my sleep paralysis demon takes me in my dreams.
What?
So when I ordered a Bible transformer from Yellowface all those years ago, this must have been where it came from!
Alright, Bubble and friends, it was a blast riding that express train with you three, but we're on different teams, so we must depart now.
Oh, Woody?
What?
Remember the time I told you there's a life out there to enjoy, so enjoy it!
What?
Well, since then, I've learned that sometimes you're just not in the right mind state to enjoy the things you used to enjoy. But that's natural and okay. Things will get better eventually, even if they're not perfect right now.
Oh, please. That's so cheesy I would laugh, but I suppose I should be nicer to my fellow BFB mates. So, I'll respect it.
That was 2 minutes. This episode is 18 minutes long. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. These don't do anything for the episode but exist as dead air. Literally, while I was watching this episode for the first time, I kept checking how much more the episode had because the dialogue made it feel like it was moving at an actual snail's pace. Jesus. Which really shows how bad dialogue can screw an entire episode over. You could literally remove all of these scenes and nothing would change. Delete this entire episode, actually, and I think it would be a positive upgrade.
To summarize,
make your characters sound like real people. Keep your dialogue natural and short when you can. Don't treat your audience like a baby by stating the obvious. Your viewers are competent consumers. The best dialogue has multiple uses. If you can remove it and the episode wouldn't change, why have it there in the first place? I'd like to end this off with a short FAQ before I get angry comments and tweets at me threatening my well-being. You only use examples from II and BFB. That's because I only watch those two object shows. But then why, Multi, you may be asking, did you make this video addressing the entire OSC when you have examples from these two shows? Let's be real here. These two shows are what everyone derives their inspiration from. And I know other object shows are in dire need of writing advice just from seeing clips or word of mouth. By analyzing and critiquing the most popular shows, we can effectively address the entire OSC. In other words, in some ways, I'm glad II and new BFB suck shit so that people can learn from them. That being said, you are a harsh critic. Yes, I am. I tend to be very harsh about my critiques. In other words, I don't sugarcoat things. The two shows I talk about in this video, although made by college students and not professional companies, do try to come off as professional as they can with merchandise and workers and social media managers and what have you. I'm not bashing some kid's shows who's looking for constructive criticism to better a personal project. I'm bashing a show that tries to be on the same level of professionalism as Cartoon Network produced shows. That being said, you were full of yourself. Oh, absolutely. Was it not obvious? I think you should watch this object show. They do what you said in the video perfectly, and you're wrong, and have a narrow scope of the community's production. Hey, you may be right. The problem with me is I have a short attention span, and have a difficult time putting the effort into getting into a new show. I've been watching BFDI and II since I was a kid, so it's easy for me to continue doing that. It's a whole other endeavor getting into something new. However, if you really do think I should watch the show and/or critique it, pay me money. This is not a joke. That is the only way I will probably care to watch it. Please refer to question 3 for any confusion on that statement. This can apply to non-object shows. I realize this can apply to any screenwriting, novel writing too actually, but I love the OSC, and I love how creative it can be, and I love the shows that it produces. With the content that I've been consuming lately, I've noticed a lot of faults in dialogue, and I came to address that with my writing expertise in hopes of helping people improve their skills. What gives you the right to say that? Well, I don't mean to flex, but I've taken writing courses at NYU, the New York Times, and Georgetown, and I'm currently a senior in high school looking into getting writing in the future. I've written 2 novels, though I'm still editing them and revising them to be better, and have an unfinished script in the works too. Also, I like to share my opinions a lot, if that wasn't abundantly clear yet. That's about it. Thank you for watching this long-winded rant/analysis on writing, and I hope you can go forth and improve your own skills. If you disagree with me on any of these points, leave a comment, but I won't be reading them because I don't really care. Have a nice day!